Morning Coffee Live. Let's talk about trucking, shall we? Stay tuned. Give it a minute. Good morning. I hope all is well with you. Gotta love the mute button. What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, October 25th. We are almost to Halloween. I'm sure that excites you. And it's about time for this Christmas freight to be done. So keep that in mind. Let me make a few adjustments here, and then we'll get to talking about absolutely nothing or something. We'll see. We'll see what mood I'm in. So, good morning. I hope all is well. Yesterday was an interesting day. From the broker side, it was. So I had a person calling a load that we're shipping out, and immediately set the anchor and set a price, and I'm like, okay. So glad to see negotiation skills are still pretty strong. They've got to be strong in this environment, and there's some value to speaking clear and friendly sentences. Trust me on this. So, but anyways, we'll look at some low boards. I want to look at some DAT trend lines. I know that everybody's been calling me, telling me that fuel's jumped up. And, and one of the things when fuel jumps up as suddenly as it has, fuel discounts don't react quite as fast. And so keep that in mind. So, fuel is going to be a big expense, and FreightWaves was talking about, there's probably no relief coming as far as fuel goes. And traditionally, historically, this time of year, travel is up. So that means demand's up. And then with the unsettledness of the Middle East, who knows, that it could affect it, it could not, but they're going to blame it anyways, right? So just keep that in mind when you're going over your numbers, which most of you or all of you should be doing to make sure that you're making a profit. So, and that's getting harder and harder by the day because of expenses. So keep that in mind. So, But yeah, we'll look at the 123 low board, and we'll also look at some DAT trend lines. So I'll get that. We'll do some. Let's do this here. Let's go to their website. Also, let me explain something to you. I'm seeing a lot of reports of other brokers besides Convoy, obviously, that are getting later and later in payment. So, you had Metalhead here recently. Um, you know, and if you have a good factoring company, if you have a good credit check source, also, you would have seen these things like 2 or 3 or 4 months ago. Like Surge and Metalhead, I knew were going away. Now, something to take note: Uber doesn't do quick pay anymore. They're at 30 days now, and so the trend is not going well when it comes to brokers and shippers not paying on time. So just be aware of that, and have a good source to check your credit. If you don't factor, and I don't get into the factor versus don't factor arguments. I will say this, that you need a great source to check credit, and if you don't factor, and if you do factor, just keep an eye on your receivables. Make sure that nothing has changed, because there's a lot of brokers I've called or was going to call loads on that went from green to yellow, and some that were yellow to now they're red. And so just keep that in mind, and that's the trend all the way across the board. And don't pay attention to the credit scores that the low boards show you. You need to dig in a little bit deeper. I know that Surge was still showing a 90s credit score on DAT, even though they had just filed bankruptcy. So, I mean, just be aware of those things, right? Just be aware, because awareness is key in this market, in any market actually. Awareness of what's getting worse and what's getting better. And that's how you recognize good freight lanes. That's how you recognize good loads. That's how you recognize good brokers. There's a lot of carriers that relied on Convoy because you didn't have to call anybody. That was one of the things when I went from Landstar to Schneider, is I went from a person that may or may not have the load, to a click and go system, which was nice. And it made me money. And so there are a lot of people that come out in the spot market, realize they don't like talking to brokers, which is understandable, and decide that they're going to rely on the click and goes. And Convoy, whether you liked them or not, they started something. And yes, they were data mining, and they acquired a piece of the market. But here's the thing: what it did is it created a digital platform for everybody. Everybody thought, you know what, this is a good idea. And brokers like C.H. Robinson, J.B. Hunt, they make you earn the ability to be able to see the customer names and all that. So these click and go apps, or these bid apps, or these websites where you bid, that's all data mining. And it gives them, all the tracking apps, they can really kind of zero in on fluctuations in capacity in any area that they want. And I notice, just a personal observation for me, after 3 o'clock, I lose leverage with most markets. Unless it's something that's picking up that night, and so a carrier dropped off, and which happens more than you think. But at the same time, you're looking for a needle in a haystack, and it's like trying to hit a home run. And just got to be careful. If you're in a better market with more volume, it's easier to do. But when you've only got like 10 choices in a market that you're in, then and like I said, you can book ahead if you want, but a lot of times things fall apart, and so you got to be prepared for that. I would love to just, and there was a time where I could book like a whole week out, Like I've been like there was a time where I was dispatching 5 trucks, made 2 phone calls, everybody was covered up until Friday. And that was a great thing. That was something I worked hard to get, and I've lost that because of the market conditions. So just know that things are changing constantly, and what you're dealing with now is not going to be the same as tomorrow. So all right, let's do some shout outs and then we'll go to some website stuff here. Oh, we got a lot of comments here. All right, Trucking with Liberty. Yes, he says. My name is Nobody. Good morning. I saw the intro. Good stuff. Thank you. Todd, what's up, man? Hi, baby. JF Trucker, good morning. And he's 3 minutes early. Yes. I got up early this morning. I got up at like 3:30. Couldn't go back to sleep, so I got up, had my first cup of coffee, and then I took a shower. And the wife's up with me today because she's not working because her computer died. So she's just hanging out in the background, lurking, and waiting for work to call so they can resolve her issue. So, morning, show me where the freight is, please. Well, we can do that, Fate. We can do that. We'll start on reefer today first. Stuart, what's up? Good morning. Sterling Wheel, it's snowing on Willamette Pass. Smart people should chain up. Well, good luck finding those people. Morning roundtable. That's a great phrase. Thank you. Snowing not in Florida. Christopher Howard finally caught alive. There you go. Greg Zimmer, good morning. Did you ever listen to that band I told you about, Greg? Tunk, Orange Haven. Sean, I'm glad there's still some Orange Havens out there. I know that the Wilmer PNG kind of died off a little bit for the orange trailers. Shannon says, good morning, everyone from Tennessee with peppermint mocha coffee. Don't tell Pale Rider. He will be mad. Good morning, Steve. We cannot beat AI pricing, but we can provide way better service. How do we stand out at warehouse run by robots and a market designed to find carrier willing to take a load cheap? That's a great question. And you got to do the stuff no one else is willing to do, and that's including customer service. Flatbed Trucker, good morning. Has anyone secured a customer from Convoy or know someone who knows someone who has? I haven't. The majority of what I saw on Convoy was 3PL, I think. Because what was interesting is there's a broker that's been doing there's a local Niagara plant up in Kansas City, and I noticed that when Convoys dropped off, this particular broker has the load now. Now next week's going to be somebody different, and Trucking with Liberty has talked. We talked about that. He's one of my clients, and it bounces, and every time it bounces to a different broker, the rate's different, the rate's lower, and then it bounces again. And as a broker, I don't know if I even want to deal with customers like that. But I'm new to the broker game, so what do I know? I don't know much. CB, what's up from Houston? Houston, Texas, supposed to get some storms up towards the Dallas area. Dallas, Oklahoma, Tulsa, so be careful. Sage says interest rate too high to quick pay carriers for Uber. Yeah, the interest rates are going through the roof, and there's some graphs out there on Facebook that. So, what's on time? Isn't more days to pay maybe a sales point for a broker to a shipper? Just something to think about. That is an interesting question. Jose, good morning. Stuart says we'll give you 60 days to pay versus 30. A shipper might find that more attractive. Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of shippers that are struggling right now as well because their product's not selling or they don't have the budget that they did because they blew through it 2 years ago. So yeah, that'll be interesting if that, that's definitely a dynamic to use on a sales tactic, right? I would like to hear that from a broker's perspective. Tech nerds think that technology can replace people, but the reality is technology needs people more than we need technology. Yes, That is true. That was one of the things, one of the multitude of things that took Convoy out. They thought that um, they thought that if you made everything easy and convenient, that that would be enough. And the biggest problem with using a platform like Convoy was if there was an issue, it was hard to get a hold of somebody. If there was an issue, you were kind of left out in the dark. Um, and then the rates tanked. And then you find out that they're running for a loss just to get that market share. And I could see the other digital platforms doing the same thing. Now, the difference between Convoy and Uber was that at that time when Convoy came out was Convoy you could bid. And there was a time where you would put in a high bid and they would call and say, "Hey, look, we see you looking at this load." And they knew you were looking at the load. "You've got a bid for 1,000. Can you meet me at 900?" Because they didn't like the back and forth either because the load needed to be booked. Uber didn't allow you to bid at those in those days. It was but their rates at that time were actually pretty good. So, and they had the best attention and they had the best Tonu, and you had their technology to prove that you were doing what you were supposed to be doing. But they did not account the human factor of just like these guys that think that they're going to have 10 contractors or they're going to put people in 5 trucks. There's the human element that you got to consider. For if you're trying to put somebody in just one truck, you got to think of, okay, what's that driver's needs, what's their emotional state like, what's their financial state like, you know are they quick to leave, are they going to be loyal, will they take care of your equipment, all these different things. And a broker has to consider that for the load as well. So a shipper, if the shipper doesn't have confidence in the carriers that's picking up their freight, that's no good as well. But you're absolutely right, CB. Truck with T-Bone, good morning, everyone. Truckers Anonymous, good morning, Steve, and everybody else. Good morning from Vegas, Music City. Frankfurt, New York, now big W from Omaha, all blue, not orange now. Can't say names, you will know. Yep. Yeah. And, Sage made a good point about asset based brokers are going to start swallowing up this contract freight. And there are brokers that will they'll take a loss just to grab it, just to keep their food on the table because volumes are going to drop. This is a prediction. I could be wrong. Unless there's a kinetic war, volumes are going to drop sharply in January. So just be aware of that. That's my prediction. I'm not a prophet. I'm just a guy at a desk that thinks he knows a couple of things, but probably doesn't. So, PR any carrier, is your business ready to hand out 60 days credit? Imagine if every broker's customers were paying 60 to 90 days and brokers paying 20 to 30 days. Who wants to buy a brokerage, right? Brokers are often a bank for the shipper. The credit risk brokers carry is their skin in the game. Yes, I agree with that. So, and seeing that from the other side, I can see that as well. And you've been teaching that to Jeff and I as well. So, but let's see. Let's go to 123 low board first. Let's get this up on the screen here. Oh wait, not yet. I gotta log in correctly here. I had to log out and log in as the broker yesterday. That's an interesting deal here. So, all right, now we've got that out of the way. Let's share the screen. All right. I had to clear a bunch of my searches. They were piling up. So, oh, this is a new tool with market rates. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's still got me as a broker shipper. So let me go as carrier here. All right. So, all right. So let's do load availability. Look at this big red slab of nothing. All right. So this is for all. Let's do reefer since fate's in here. Asking to know where the freight is. Um, look at that. Let's look at Washington. Let's see what reefer freight's coming out of Washington. My wife's phone is ringing. All right. So, all right. So let's do the highest rate. See where the cross country stuff's going. The long haul. Wow, 6,300 to go from Washington to PA. 252 a mile. 2,500 miles. 42,000 pounds. So your fuel mileage is going to be low. And depending on your truck, I mean, it's 42. It's average, right? They're above the cargo chief, so that's not bad. Green screen's headed at 7,000 at one time, but those days are pretty numbered. But when's this pick up? This picks up tomorrow. There's going to be a blizzard through this stretch of road here. That's probably why it's got a little bit of money on it. So just be aware that you may not be on time with that load. Washington to Virginia, same thing. 250 miles, 6,200. Same issues with the routing. If I was up in Washington, I'd probably jump down to Cali and then go across from Cali. Because Montana, North Dakota, and some of Wyoming are going to see a blizzard. So just be aware of that. Washington, Ohio. Let's take a look at that one. 4,500, 209 a mile. Let's see where Cargo Chief's got it at. Cargo Chief's got it at 55, so they're way below. One pick, one drop, and again, it's gotten you going through the blizzard. So if you are going across from Washington, just be aware that this upper area is going to be under bad weather for the weekend. The other thing you got to keep an eye out is there's a hurricane in Mexico right now, so that might turn in some heavy rain there in the southwest and the south. So just be aware of that in areas that normally don't get a whole lot of rain. Here's got so is this MGD tractor and equipment? They're at 3,500. Van reefer flatbed step deck. So who knows what this is? Quantity 1, 2 extra stops, and they're at $1.26 a mile. And if I had to guess, these are 3 pickups going all the way to PA. So I'm wondering if this is Christmas trees. But look at that rate. So I don't know. Can Christmas trees go on a flatbed? Let's see. Arizona. That might be a good weekend run. Richland, Washington to Loveland, Colorado. Of course, Colorado's been rough getting out. And here's another one. MGD. Washington to PA. $1 mile. 36 speed. It's a partial. That's why they're doing that. Okay. Partials take a lot of coordination. So, All right, let's take a look at South Dakota's green. Let's see what's coming out of South Dakota. 239 a mile, 3,700 to go from South Dakota back up to Oregon again. You're going through some bad weather. That picks up tomorrow. Here's a load all the way in November 4th that they're trying to cover. Mitchell, South Dakota to Massillon, Ohio. Sioux Falls to Abbotsford. So let's sort this by pickup date. Now, this early in the morning, you're going to see a lot of 8+ hour old postings. That's what that is. So not too much for today. Here's a Lake Norden, South Dakota to Springfield, Missouri. 286 mile, 1,800. Delivers at 2 p.m. Not sure who the customer would be on that. Oh, cheese. That's probably going to be. It's probably going to be Kraft. They're at the caves, so you can go down the Springfield Underground and mess around down there. Let's see. Sterling says Washington will be hot for another month. Apples, pears, wine. Okay, that's good to know. Stewart says CDN, don't brokers have the option to get credit or factor too? Compare the airline industry. You would think the owners are trying to get seat rates up, yet we all shop for the cheapest airfare. What would the airline need to do so you pay more? Great questions. But yeah, brokerages do factor. But you can only pass the buck so much. Reality is, if we are earning the revenue, we want more. If we're spending, we want the cheapest. We live in supply and demand society. That's true. A lot of people don't understand that for some reason. All right, let's look at van. See what van's looking like here, and then we're going to go over some other numbers here. See what happens. Arizona's yellow. New Mexico's red again. It was yellow because of pumpkins, but pumpkins are pretty much done at this point. Washington and Oregon. Let's see what's coming out of Washington in the van world. See if we can spot any Christmas tree loads. $1.15 to go from Washington to California. Oh, here's $2.62 a mile to go from Washington to Denver. Picks up today, delivers Friday. They're at 3,000, 44,000 pounds, so you're not going to get nothing for fuel. But they're putting some money on it. It needs to go. My guess is there might be another stop, or it's got. But you're laying on Denver on a Friday, so more likely you're going to deadhead to Kansas City if you're trying to go east, or at least Wichita or Hutchinson to get out of there. Or you're going to take a load from Denver down to Phoenix. And then Phoenix, you're fighting a market down there as well. Or Salt Lake. Salt Lake's another one that you can go back and forth with. Quincy, Washington to Groveport, Ohio, they're at $1.97 a mile, which for a van is not bad. Picks up today, delivers, doesn't have delivery time. Plate trailer with E-Tracks needed, $500 rate reduction if driver does N. So evidently they're paying attention to details. You're at 2,300 miles. So I wonder what the deal is with the E-Tracks. So more likely that's a specialized thing. So you have to call for details. So that might be a good load. Soap, Lake Washington to Ocala, Florida, $1.80 mile, $49.80. Also picks up today. Picks up today, delivers Monday. Right? Is that Monday? Yep, Monday. They're not too far from the cargo chief. Let's see. Not bad on the transit time, but again, you might have to take a different route because of the weather that you're going to be looking at. So Stewart says CDN, yes, brokerages can get factor based on customers paying in 30 days. If your customers are paying 30 to 60 days, your brokerage has a big credit line. Find a factoring company approved 60 days to pay. Meant 60 to 90 days. I don't think we want the cheapest if we are spending. I would say the biggest bang for your buck, example, a first class seat and coach prices. All right. I had some thoughts on that, but I don't know if I could add to that conversation. Let's look at PA outbound for Van. A lot of stuff for today. So that's interesting. Sort by highest paying. Let's do the long haul rate per mile. Ooh, $7.64 a mile. York, PA to Maryland, $405. Hazel Township to Brooklyn for almost $1,000. So a lot of your short hauls going into Jersey, New York. A lot of stuff going to Jersey. But between tolls and fuel, I don't know if that 450, if you're only doing one of those a day, is going to be enough for you. So let's do highest rate, and then Sterling just put up a super chat, and we'll take a look at where he wants to go. All right, so your long haul's got PA to California, $1.50 a mile, $4,300. That's why I suggest doing a short hop to Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and then go across country if you're trying to go west. So nothing really over $4,000. There's three loads over $4,000. That's going all the way to California or Oregon. I would probably pick the California over the Oregon, but I don't know. I've never been like coast to coast. The longest hauls I've done was I went to Kansas City to Fife, Washington. I think it's the longest run that I've done. And I might have been from Salt Lake all the way to PA. I don't know. I don't remember it. If I did, that was a long time ago. CDN says our brokerage has financial risk insurance that they obtain for customers with iffy credit, but they limit the amount. Imagine 10 customers with 150,000 credit each who here can float 1 million. Yeah, there's a lot of money in that. Sterling, 53 reefer to Colton, California, going anywhere. All right, so let's do that. So let's go to search, find loads, create new search. Colton Car. Anywhere for reefer. Take out flatbed there. Apply. Search. 150-mile radius of California, Colton, California. We got stuff right out of Colton. Paying pretty good too. Let's see here. For California, actually. California volumes have dropped, by the way. So just be aware of that. October 30th picks up on Monday at 1 o'clock, delivers 8 a.m. on the following Wednesday or Thursday. Tuesday, Wednesday. Oh, it's Friday. Thursday or Friday. I can't see the smaller part of my calendar. They're at 38. Cargo Chief's got it at 46. So they're dropping that rate. Frozen set temp per BOL. Let's go into Indiana. So Olney, Illinois. So who's the shipper out there? Obviously, are there many shippers out there, Sterling? Olney, Illinois. That's going to be Walmart. Picks up today. They're at 4,000. The Cargo Chiefs got it at 46. Rate Checks got it at 39. Let's take a look at their credit here. $41 in toll costs, probably through Oklahoma on 44 there. Back in my day, that was $20. Pre-approved by Thunder. They are a TM member. 87 though. Look at that. 87 credit score on TransCredit. 39 days to pay. So it's a Walmart produce DC. Okay. That is my point. How do the airline rates survive when seats are always discounted? Which seats on a plane are making them money? I believe they're making more money with their cargo than the passengers. But maybe this is why the smaller guy will get squeezed, brokerages and carriers included, because we can't float millions and the big guy can and offer better terms. Ding, ding, ding. There you go, Stuart. I've been talking about this for weeks, that there are so many cards stacked against the small owner operator and small companies that if you're not on your A game, you can't expect to compete with the big boys. And you got to offer something that the big companies can't. So that's the reality that you're in right now. The manufacturers of your trucks, they don't care that you can't afford a $10,000 turbo. They throw a warranty. A warranty is nothing but a big, apology. Yeah, we screwed up. We'll fix it. Maybe. And then you're down for a month because you can't find parts because everybody's turbo went out. So, a company like Schneider can absorb that. A company like JB Hunt has resources. They have resources to mechanics. They have resources of parts. They can cannibalize trucks. Remember a year and a half ago when there was a big shortage on DEF parts? They were cannibalizing trucks just to keep it moving. I know a couple of owner operators have spare trucks, but how long does that last? Not everybody has that luxury. So Stewart says, I think a lot of airlines have gone to a volume business model versus the experience and luxury of flight. Yeah, because people are just, they got to get to where they need to go, so they're saving money on food and all that stuff. So it's like a big bus. Stuart, you're on to something. Credit is the biggest barrier when starting a brokerage and obtaining customers. Unless you provide excellent service to 5 to 8 great customers, you can still survive. So there you go. So as a broker, you have to check the shipper's credit. And if the shippers are struggling, it's a big credit game right now, and credit is expensive right now. The key to survival in an AI market is to service the customers who need that extra service. I know for a fact that many shippers don't have the volume to put their loads on a click and go, or they are last minute. Again, specialize in a niche. Do the things that other people can't do. And if all the brokerages are become big click and goes, then that's actually, other than the credit, that could be a good thing for a small broker that's willing to come in and offer customer service. Same thing as a driver. What can you offer that JB Hunt can't? Right? Obviously, JB Hunt can throw a trailer. Obviously, JB Hunt can throw a lower rate than you can. But what can you do that's necessary that the big carriers can't do? CB says, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. A trucking business is a finance challenge, not a revenue challenge. Pigtail, what's up? Stuart, I agree. You get a cheap seat, but need to pay for any extra services, including checking luggage. You don't see brokerages or carriers on Shark Tank. Why? Too volatile of a business, right? Yeah, there's a lot of Shark Tank stories that I've watched because we watched that as a family, and when they see low profit margins with a lot of risk, they're out. They're done. They don't care what the product is at that point. Especially if it's a heavily competitive market like these people that come in with energy drinks or whatever, or some diet food or whatever. They won't even touch it. And so, yeah, there's never been, you know, it's like they're looking for good businesses that go beyond the strip mall, hobbyist. And when something has a huge cash flow coming in, they want to look at the profit margins and they want to look at the longevity. Is this a trend? Is this a fad? Then this could bite us in the butt in the next 2 years. So this is an interesting comment right here. Music City Transport, the competitive advantage for the small guy is competing on service instead of price. I agree 100%. The issue that a lot of people are having right now is that there are shippers that don't care about service. Niagara Water don't care about service. Pepsi don't care about service. Have you seen the parking lot at a Pepsi plant? You got pallets and pallets and pallets of spilled, broken product. One time I picked up a load of water there in Kansas City from Wisconsin, and I'm looking at these two 55-gallon barrels of just nothing but loose water bottles. New water bottles. I'm like, is this for anybody? He goes, yeah, man, fill your side box up. In fact, here, and he showed me a pallet of all these pallets that weren't, cases that weren't perfect. Load as much as you can because the profit margin on bottled water and soda and all that is huge, right? They don't care about your service. And so when you're competing against the JB Hunts and all that and can give them better service, all it takes is the change of one shipping clerk to ruin that. Now, the other side of that is if JB Hunt can come in and say we'll do this for $1.50 a mile, and you can go, well, I can match that, but I'll give you better service, or I'll do it for $1.60. Well, can you survive on that $1.60? So what you're having to do is you're having to lower your price to compete with the big boys who really, don't care about customer service. Now you're running at a loss. There's a lot of companies out there that have gone out of business in the last 5 years because the contracts that they had that they were servicing kept needing to be lower and lower and lower. Next thing you know, they're signing contracts that then fuel goes up and repairs go up. Now you're not replacing the equipment. It's just, there's a company out of Ohio that was in that trap. And that's the challenge, right? And so you have to pick a product that, as a broker has to have a product or a shipper has to have a product that requires a little bit of care, requires the driver to go back there and maybe tailgate, or, strap each unit down or whatever. Something that you can't get with a drop trailer from JB Hunt. Now, I'll give you a perfect example. So I used to pick up pallets for Schneider right here in Springfield. And what was interesting is I went in there and the guy's like, Schneider. I'm like, and I've been down this road before. Obviously he's not happy with our customer service. So I was like, hey, is there anything that I can do? Because obviously, what's going on with Schneider? He's like, so he tells me the issues that they have. I said, you know what? I will contact somebody at Schneider. I will do what I can, but I will at least as a driver provide you service. And from that point on, every time I was in there, he treated me different. Now, other Schneider drivers would go in there and he'd be completely rude to them. But I was fine. And one time, one of my Schneider friends was like, hey, man, have you picked up this pallet place from Springfield? I said, yeah, tell him you know Steve in the green truck. Why? I said, you'll see why. And sure enough, he comes in. The guy has that attitude. He goes, yeah, man, my buddy Steve with the green truck that picks up here, he said, say hi. Oh, Steve. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Yeah, backing in the door 3, man. We'll load you now. and that's the thing. But obviously, his bosses didn't care that he was dealing with these issues with Schneider. And you know what they ended up doing? They ended up switching all the drop trailers there from Schneider to Swift. And then 2 months later, they went from Swift back to Schneider. Meanwhile, at Like Trucking, I was able to get in there with my own trailer and say, hey, let me give you customer service. And they're like, cool. And they would treat me better if I go in there. If I went in there early, they would unload me. And of course, eventually that original clerk left. But then Chet Pallets went to an automated system like Niagara. You checked in on this iPad, you checked out on an iPad. The only thing that was said to you was the forklift guy saying, you're clear, leave. And so that's why as a broker, is it worth it to go after pallet loads if everything's so automated and they don't care about customer service? Well, now we're going for the cheapest rate. Well, I know what it costs to run a truck. So to sit there and try to broker a load that I'm only getting $1.50, that I got to tell a driver that's all they can run it for. So it's the complexities of this industry would boggle your mind. CDN's talked about it quite a bit. And so, yeah, you're stacked up against the big guy. Just like if you have a hardware store, you're stacked up against Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon. It's the same thing. And we don't live in a capitalist country anymore. We live in a corporatist country. And that's one thing that COVID did is it told everybody, hey, your small business does not matter. Hey, small restaurant, yeah, sucks to be you, but McDonald's can stay open because they have takeout. They have delivery. But yeah, you mom and pop restaurant, good luck even finding food for your restaurant because of shortages. Meanwhile, Subway's got everything they need, right? That's what you're stacked up against. Great chat, everyone. Says CDN, I got to get my nose to the grindstone. A big day ahead. Thanks for your input, CDN. If you don't understand what a PE ratio is, learn it because your competition lives it. If your business isn't scalable, it's only a hobby. That's a good, I agree with that, Sterling. CDN Sterling, you can do a mic drop. Don't drop your microphone. I agree with that statement 100% Music City, but in the same sentence, most of us will go and do business with the brokers that doesn't have that philosophy simply because they're the ones with the load. We have to go beyond the load. You have to go beyond the scale of that one load. And that customer service will work with the broker too. I've got deals with big brokers on big paying loads that aren't open to other carriers. Why? Because we give them great service. We have very little issues. Scorpion, he recognizes that. Good morning, Snorelord and everyone from Kansas, delivering to Aurora, Colorado today, and then grabbing a great load. Many thanks to Rig Runner for your service, saving my week. Cheers. There you go. Sterling, it's all in the name, the hobby trucker. Good to see you back, Scorpion. Yes, he had a wonderful vacation. Now he needs to work. I look for customers that specifically value service, reliability, and professionalism. Yes. Don't even waste your time with the Niagaras and the uh, Procter and Gamble and all that crap. Steve has saved my week countless times. I owe him a lot, and he's worth every percent I pay him. Amazing dispatcher, excellent mentor, most of all, good friend. Aw, shucks. Todd has arrived. Cool deal. Good beans. The unfortunate part of your excellent service is it pleased the warehouse staff, but that message was not conveyed to the decision makers who decide what carrier or broker gets their freight. Service is termed value added. By the way, Steve and CDN, I did reach out to the customer that Convoy used to have. Standard form I had to fill out. I'll see if anything turns up with this potential direct customer. Excellent. I respectfully disagree. As carriers get squeezed, they sacrifice maintenance, which then affects reliability. Value added is different for everyone. I agree with that. And maintenance is going up quite a bit. Great conversation this morning, guys and girls. Time to get some miles put down. Yep. So, anyways, 123 low board, 48065 is my code. If you want to try it out, don't take my word for it. Look at all the great tools that you have. You have a load availability. You have the load planner. It can keep track of your loads. Jeff messes around with the load planner. He's much better at that than I am. You got profit calculator. You can put in your miles per gallon. You can put your percentage in that your carrier pays you. There's roads. There's a whole bunch of stuff. There's even a thing on how to get your own authority. It says evil right there. So, but then messages, dashboard. So, but yep. Let's go back to the chat. Whoa. Why did I do that? Hold on. The Loves I spent the night at last night charges the same labor rate as my local shop, $140 an hour. There was a time where truck stop rates were way lower than that, like $90 an hour. But yeah, I mean, look, things are going up, and your rates are going to be struggling here. You're going to find a good load here and there, but you got to look at the long term, and you got to figure it out. And running your truck ragged because maintenance took all your savings, or you didn't run enough when the rates were really good, or both. It'll wear you out, and if it won't wear your truck out, it'll wear you out. So, but I agree with this comment. Trucking with Liberty, they should be lower than a regular shop, in my opinion. Yes, because they don't do nearly a good enough job. So, all right, guys. Guys and gals. Thanks for watching. Hopefully, we'll see you Friday. So, hold on. Cents per mile. What's that load board for RGN? There's not much RGN on this, but we can take a look if you want. Find loads. Let's see. Madison, Wisconsin, anywhere. So let's do that. Create new search. Madison. Anywhere. Trailer type. Take that out. RGN, apply. Search. Oh, there's some stuff up here. It's all LTL. All LTL, so the rates are. So that's it. It's all coming out of two areas: Kenosha, Michigan City, Ingleside, Illinois, and Waupun, Wisconsin. So DIY says we out trucking this week. I wondered why you were so quiet. Shannon says have a wonderful day. Oh, I didn't show the screen. Sorry. I did. My wife's not yelling at me yet. All right, so there's your RGN. Not much on there. Sorry about that. $1.12. It's all LTL. So there's one truckload, and it's basically a 13-mile load. Let's see. And there's no rate check on it. No hot shot. As for Alex, need a union driver from the Indiana Heavy Equipment Union. So who knows what kind of issues are going on with that. So what up, cents per mile? Hope all is well with yourself. The man that never sleeps is in the house. Hello, DIY Semi. Have a great day, Snorelord. Thank you. We're gonna try. It's like I said, it's been an interesting week so far, and prayers for all of you that are struggling with some things right now. And strength for today, hope for tomorrow, and figure it out, man. If you can't, have someone help you. So with that being said, peace. We'll see you Friday. Outro now.